No wife, no kids, no life, my brother's family declared at Christmas, taking my savings. Just a waste of space, they all nodded. I smiled and left. 3 days later my voicemail was full of their desperate pleas. Christmas is supposed to be about love and family, but for me it was a painful reminder that I didn't belong. My brother, his wife, and their kids sat around the lavish dinner table, laughing and clinking their glasses. Then, between bites of turkey and sips of wine, they made it clear how they saw me. No wife, no kids, no life, just a waste of space. And the worst part? They all agreed. Even my parents. I just smiled, stood up, and walked out. No yelling. No arguments. Just silence. Let them think what they wanted. But what they didn't know, what none of them ever cared to ask, was that I wasn't some pathetic loner. I had spent years working, saving, planning for something bigger than their approval. So when I left that night, I didn't look back. 3 days later, though, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Missed calls. Voicemails. One after another. Desperate voices, panicked words. My brother. His wife. Even my parents. The same people who had laughed at me, now begging me to call them back. Something had happened. And for the first time they needed me. I stared at my phone, watching the missed calls pile up. First my brother. Then his wife. Even my parents, who barely spoke to me unless it was to criticize my life choices. Their voices filled my voicemail. Each message more frantic than the last. Asterisk, please call me back. It's urgent. Asterisk, my brother's voice was sharp, unsteady. Asterisk, we need you, please pick up. Asterisk, that was his wife. She always spoke to me like I was some distant relative, an outsider. Asterisk, son, we need to talk. It's important. Asterisk, my father, the man who barely acknowledged me at Christmas dinner. They were all desperate now. But why? A part of me wanted to ignore them. Let them feel what it was like to be unheard, unseen. But curiosity gnawed at me. Something had shifted, something big. And no matter how much I tried to convince myself that I didn't care, a small part of me did. I hesitated before finally playing one of the voicemails. My brother's voice came through, rushed, almost panicked. Asterisk, look, I know what we said on Christmas. I know it was wrong. But we need your help. Please just call me back. It's serious. Asterisk, I frowned. My brother never admitted when he was wrong. Ever. And now suddenly he needed me? Still, I didn't call back right away. Instead, I sat on my couch, thinking about everything that had led up to that night. My whole life, I had been the black sheep of the family. The one who didn't follow the path they wanted. I didn't get married young like my brother. I didn't have kids. I focused on my career, saved my money, and lived life on my own terms. But to them, that meant I was wasting my life. At every holiday gathering, I was reminded of it. The little comments from my parents. The smug looks from my brother and his wife. The way the conversation always revolved around their perfect family. Their kids, their achievements. And when it came to me, silence. Like I didn't exist. But Christmas night was the worst. My brother's wife had laughed, clinking her wine glass. Asterisk, at least we have a purpose, right? We built a family. Some people just exist. Asterisk, and that was when my brother delivered the final blow. Asterisk, no wife, no kids, no life. Asterisk, that moment stuck with me. Not because it hurt, because honestly I had heard worse, but because they really believed it. They truly thought I had nothing. That my savings, my career, my freedom meant nothing compared to their traditional life. But now, just 3 days later, they were the ones desperate to reach me. I finally sighed and called my brother back. He picked up immediately. Asterisk, finally. Where have you been? Asterisk, his voice was tight, anxious. Busy, I said flatly. Asterisk, what's going on? Asterisk, there was silence for a moment, and then he exhaled sharply. Asterisk, it's Dad. He's in trouble. A lot of trouble. Asterisk, I stiffened. Asterisk, what kind of trouble? Asterisk, financial, he admitted. Asterisk, really bad. He messed up, okay? And we just found out today. He was hiding it from all of us. Asterisk, I frowned. My father had always been a proud man, the type who never admitted weakness. If he was struggling, he would never tell anyone. Asterisk, how bad is it? Asterisk, I asked. My brother hesitated. Asterisk, he could lose the house. Everything. He took out loans, a lot of them. He thought he could pay them back, but he can't. And now the bank is involved. Lawyers. It's bad. Asterisk, I leaned back, processing his words. My parents' house was their pride and joy. They had poured everything into it. The idea of them losing it. I won't lie, it shook me a little. I don't know what you expect me to do about it, I said. There was a pause. Then my brother sighed. Asterisk, come on. You know what I'm asking. Asterisk, and there it was. My savings. The money they always mocked me for holding on to. The money they laughed at when they said I had nothing. Now suddenly it was their lifeline. You want me to fix this, I said, my voice calm. We need you to, he admitted. Asterisk, Dad needs you to. Asterisk, I didn't answer right away. Instead, I let the silence stretch between us. I thought about all the years I had spent being treated like an afterthought. All the times they made me feel like I was lesser because I didn't fit their version of success. And now, when everything was falling apart, they were turning to me. Look, my brother said. His voice quieter now. Asterisk, I know we've been hard on you. I know we said things we shouldn't have. But family helps each other, right? Asterisk, I let out a small laugh, shaking my head. Funny, I said. Asterisk, that's exactly what I was thinking on Christmas night. Asterisk, there was another pause. My brother sighed again, this time sounding almost defeated. Asterisk, just think about it, okay? Asterisk, he said. Asterisk, please. Asterisk, I didn't promise anything. I just hung up. But as I sat there staring at my phone, my mind kept racing. For years, I had been invisible to them. Now suddenly I was their only hope. And for the first time in my life, I had the power that I sat in my apartment, staring at the city lights through my window. The conversation with my brother kept playing in my head. His desperate tone, the way he suddenly needed me after years of pushing me aside. A few days ago, I was just a waste of space to them. Now I was supposed to be their savior. I didn't respond right away. Instead, I went about my day as if nothing had happened. I made coffee, went for a walk, sat in the park watching families, couples, and people living their lives. I thought about what my brother had said. How family helps each other, that phrase echoed in my mind, but it didn't sit right. Family only seemed to work one way for them. When they needed something, suddenly I was included. But when I needed respect, consideration, even basic kindness, I was nothing. I got another call that afternoon. This time it was my mother. I let it go to voicemail. A few minutes later, another. Then another. By the fourth call, I finally answered. Asterisk, why haven't you called back? Asterisk, she asked immediately. No hello, no small talk. Just straight to the point. I've been busy, I said. Asterisk, busy. Asterisk, she scoffed. Asterisk, your father is about to lose everything. And you're too busy to even call? Asterisk, I took a slow breath. Asterisk, you mean the same father who sat there and let everyone insult me 3 nights ago? Asterisk, silence. Then a sigh. Asterisk, look, we all say things we don't mean sometimes. But this isn't about that. This is about your father. He's scared. We're all scared. You're in the best position to help. You have savings, don't you? Asterisk, and there it was. They didn't care about me. They cared about what I could do for them. I do, I admitted. Asterisk, then what's the problem? Asterisk, she snapped. I almost laughed. Asterisk, the problem, Mom, is that for years, you all treated me like I was worthless. Like my life was meaningless because I didn't follow your path. But now suddenly I have worth? Suddenly I matter. Asterisk, of course you matter, she said quickly. Asterisk, we're family. Asterisk, asterisk, now we are. Asterisk, I asked. Asterisk, because 3 days ago you all agreed I was just a waste of space. Asterisk, silence again. Then a softer voice. Asterisk, I know we've made mistakes. But this is different. This is real life. We need you. Asterisk, I closed my eyes, gripping the phone. Every part of me wanted to say no. But deep down, a part of me also wanted to hear them admit it, to make them say outright that they had been wrong. Say it, I said finally. Asterisk, say what? Asterisk, my mother asked, confused. Asterisk, say that you were wrong about me. That I'm not just some failure. That my life does have value, even without a wife and kids. Say it and maybe I'll consider helping. Asterisk, silence. Longer this time. I could almost feel the hesitation through the phone. Admitting they were wrong was not something my family did. This isn't the time for this, she finally said. I laughed, shaking my head. Asterisk, it never is it? Asterisk, and then I hung up. That night I got more voicemails. One from my father, which was the shortest. Asterisk, I know you're angry, but I'm still your father. You know where to find me. Asterisk, one from my brother's wife. Asterisk, I don't know what you're trying to prove, but this is about more than just you. If you're really as smart as you think, then act like it. Asterisk, and another from my brother. Asterisk, listen, I get it, okay? We treated you like crap. But you can't seriously be this cold. You know what Dad is like. He never would have admitted he was struggling. He was too proud. But now he's drowning and we need to fix this. We need you. Please. Asterisk, that last one made me pause. Because I knew my father. I knew how much he valued control. The thought of him sitting alone, knowing his world was crumbling, did something to me. The next morning, I found myself driving to my parents' house. I told myself it wasn't to save them. I just wanted to see. To understand what had really happened. When I arrived, my mother opened the door, her face tired and drawn. My father was sitting in his chair, looking smaller than I remembered. My brother stood by the fireplace, arms crossed. They all looked at me the same way, like I was their last chance. I stepped inside, and for the first time in a long time, I wasn't the one feeling small. They were. And I wasn't sure how I felt about that yet. The house felt different. The same walls, the same furniture, but the air was thick with something unfamiliar, uncertainty, maybe even fear. My father, always the strong, commanding presence in the room, sat in his armchair, staring at nothing. His hands, once steady, fidgeted against his knee. My mother stood near him, eyes darting toward me, waiting for something. An answer. A lifeline. My brother leaned against the fireplace, arms crossed, but even he didn't look as sure of himself as usual. I stepped inside, letting the door close behind me. The silence stretched, pressing against all of us. You came, my father finally said, his voice quieter than I'd ever heard it. I wanted to see for myself, I replied. Asterisk, see just how bad it really is. Asterisk, my brother exhaled sharply. Asterisk, it's bad. Asterisk, he walked over to the dining table and grabbed a folder, sliding it toward me. I hesitated before picking it up. Inside were loan documents, overdue notices, and bank letters, each one more alarming than the last. The numbers didn't lie. This wasn't just a tough spot, they were drowning. And it wasn't just their house on the line. Asterisk, how did this even happen? Asterisk, I asked, flipping through the pages. My father sighed, rubbing his forehead. Asterisk, I thought I could handle it. Thought I could turn things around before anyone had to know. But then it got ahead of me. Asterisk, I studied him. The man who never admitted weakness, now sitting before me, admitting everything. Asterisk, why didn't you ask for help sooner? Asterisk, I asked, my voice calm but firm. He shook his head. Asterisk, because that's not how I do things. Asterisk, no, I said, nodding. Asterisk, it's not. But suddenly, now that you have no choice, you're asking me. Asterisk, my mother shifted uncomfortably. My brother ran a hand through his hair. It's not like that, my mother said softly. Asterisk, isn't it? Asterisk, I asked. Asterisk, I mean, let's be honest. If I were the one in trouble, would you have helped me? Would any of you? Asterisk, silence. No one had an answer. I set the folder down and looked at them. My father, who had never once told me he was proud of me. My mother, who only called when she needed something. My brother, who laughed at my life choices. They had spent years making me feel like I wasn't good enough. But now they were relying on me. Asterisk, so what exactly do you want from me? Asterisk, I asked. We need money to stop the foreclosure, my brother said quickly. Asterisk, it's not just about the house. If they lose this place, they'll have nothing. Dad's credit is shot. They can't take out another loan. But you've been smart. You have savings. Asterisk, I let out a slow breath. Asterisk, and if I do this, then what? Asterisk, my father looked up. Asterisk, then we fix this. We move forward. Asterisk, move forward. Asterisk, I repeated. Asterisk, like nothing happened? Like the last few years didn't exist. Asterisk, no one spoke. My mother's eyes were glassy, like she was holding back tears. My father just looked tired. My brother, who always had something to say, was quiet now. I need to think, I finally said, standing up. We don't have much time, my brother warned. I know, I said. Asterisk, but this time I make the decision. Asterisk, and then I left. But as I walked out of that house, my heart was pounding. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't the one begging to be heard. They were. And that changed everything. I drove home in silence, gripping the wheel tighter than I needed to. My mind kept circling back to that house, to the way my father's voice had cracked, the way my mother's hands trembled, the way my brother had nothing left to say. They were desperate, and for the first time I was the one in control. But did I even want to be? I wasn't heartless. Despite everything, I didn't want to see my parents lose their home. But part of me couldn't ignore the years of rejection, the way they had pushed me aside like I didn't matter. Now when it was convenient, they wanted me back in the family fold. It was hard to swallow. I parked outside my apartment and sat there for a while, staring at my reflection in the rearview mirror. Was I really about to walk away? Could I live with that? As I stepped out of the car, my phone buzzed again. Another call from my brother. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something told me to answer. Asterisk, what now? Asterisk, I said, not bothering to hide the exhaustion in my voice. You need to come back, he said, his voice urgent. Asterisk, why? Asterisk, I asked, heart already pounding. Asterisk, because Dad just collapsed. I stood outside my father's hospital room, my hand hovering over the door handle. For years I had waited for a moment like this, not for him to be weak, but for him to finally see me, to acknowledge me as something more than a disappointment. But now that the moment was here, I wasn't sure what I wanted anymore. I pushed the door open. The room was dim, the only light coming from a monitor that beeped steadily beside the bed. My father lay there, eyes closed, his breathing slow but even. For the first time in my life, he looked small. His eyes fluttered open, and when he saw me, something in his face shifted, something I couldn't quite place. You came, he said, his voice rough. Yeah, I replied. Silence stretched between us, filled with things neither of us knew how to say. Asterisk, your mother told you? Asterisk, he asked. Asterisk, yeah. He nodded, staring up at the ceiling. Asterisk, it's bad. Asterisk, I know. Asterisk, another pause. Then, softer than I'd ever heard him speak, he said, Asterisk, I messed up. Asterisk, I swallowed hard. I had waited years to hear those words, but they didn't feel as satisfying as I had imagined. Maybe because they came at a moment when nothing else mattered. Yeah, I said finally. Asterisk, you did. Asterisk, his eyes met mine, and for the first time, they weren't filled with judgment or disappointment. Just exhaustion. Maybe even regret. And now you're here, he said. I admitted. He exhaled, closing his eyes again. Asterisk, I don't deserve it. Asterisk I didn't answer right away. Because he was right, he didn't. Not after everything. But despite that I was still here. Maybe because deep down I wasn't just doing this for him. I was doing it for myself. Asterisk what happens now? Asterisk he asked. I thought about that. About the house. The debt. The years of distance between us. I had spent so much time trying to prove myself to them to make them see my worth. And now they finally did. But did that change anything? That depends, I said. Asterisk on what? Asterisk on whether you really mean it this time, I said. Asterisk because if I help, it's not just about saving the house. It's about fixing everything. Not just for now but for good. Asterisk he looked at me for a long time. Then slowly he nodded. Asterisk okay. Asterisk I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. Outside, my brother and mother waited anxiously. They looked at me the moment I stepped out, searching for an answer. I'll help, I said finally. Asterisk but things are going to change. Asterisk they both nodded, relief washing over them. But before they could say anything my phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out, expecting another voicemail or message from them. But it wasn't. It was a notification from my bank. A withdrawal. A large one. My stomach dropped. I clicked on it, my hand suddenly cold. And that's when I saw it. My savings, the same money my family had begged me to use, was already gone. And it wasn't an accident. Someone had taken it. Someone close. And in that moment I realized the truth. This was never about family. This was about control. And I had just walked straight into their trap. My breath caught in my throat as I stared at my phone screen. The numbers didn't lie, my savings were gone. Every penny I had worked for, the security I had built for myself, wiped out in an instant. My fingers trembled as I scrolled through the transaction details, my mind struggling to make sense of what I was seeing. Then there it was, the name attached to the transfer. My brother. The hospital walls seemed to close in around me. The voices of my mother and brother faded into static as the truth settled over me like a crushing weight. This hadn't been a desperate plea for help. It had been a setup. The moment I let my guard down, the moment I decided to be the bigger person, they had already taken what they wanted. My mother's voice broke through the ringing in my ears. What's wrong? I looked up, and something in my face must have given it away because my brother's expression shifted. He straightened, crossing his arms over his chest like he was bracing for something. He knew. He knew I had found out. I swallowed hard and held up my phone. The money's gone. My mother's face twisted in confusion, but my brother's reaction was different. He didn't look surprised. He looked guilty. You took it, I said, my voice quieter than I expected. His jaw tightened. I had no choice. I let out a bitter laugh. No choice? You didn't even wait for me to agree. You just took it. You were going to help anyway, he said, his tone defensive. I just sped things up. Sped things up. I repeated, my voice rising. You stole from me. It's family money, he snapped. You wouldn't even have that much if it weren't for us. You think you did all this alone? You think you're better than us? Something inside me snapped. You never gave me anything. You mocked me, shut me out, acted like I didn't exist until you needed something. And now, after everything, you have the nerve to act like I owe you. My mother stepped between us, hands raised. Please don't do this here. I turned to her, disbelief washing over me. Asterisk you knew, didn't you? Asterisk her lips parted but no words came out. And that silence told me everything. I took a step back, shaking my head. Wow. You really got me, huh? My brother exhaled sharply, shoving his hands in his pockets. Look, it's done. The house is safe. That's what matters. I stared at him, my pulse pounding. He truly believed that what he did was justified. That stealing from me was just another family sacrifice, one I was supposed to accept without question. But I wasn't that person anymore. I took another breath and steadied myself. I'm calling the bank. His head snapped up. What? I'm reporting the transaction as fraud, I said, my voice firm. You had no right to that money. His face twisted with panic. You can't do that. The house, mom and dad, they aren't my responsibility, I cut in. And neither are you. My mother grabbed my arm, desperation in her eyes. Please, we can fix this. Just let it go. I looked at her, really looked at her. All my life, I had waited for her to fight for me the way she fought for him. To put me first just once. But that moment would never come. I pulled my arm free. You already let me go a long time ago. Then I walked out. The drive home was a blur. My phone buzzed nonstop, calls, texts, voicemails. I ignored them all. When I got home, I did exactly what I said I would. I called the bank, filed a fraud claim, and froze my accounts. My brother would have to deal with the consequences of what he did. And for once, I wasn't going to clean up his mess. In the days that followed, I waited for the guilt to hit me, for the regret to creep in. But it never came. What I did feel was something unfamiliar but powerful. Asterisk relief star. For the first time in my life, I wasn't chasing their approval. I wasn't fighting for a place in a family that had never really wanted me. I had walked away not because I was weak, but because I was finally strong enough to do it. A week later, I got one last voicemail from my father. His voice was quiet, almost hollow. I heard what happened. I don't know if you'll ever forgive us, but I just wanted you to know. I'm sorry. I listened to it once then deleted it. Because I didn't need an apology. I had already moved on. Hang inside me froze. Asterisk what? Asterisk he was stressed I guess. Too much pressure. Mom called an ambulance. We're at the hospital now. You need to get here. I didn't even think. I just got back in the car and drove. By the time I reached the hospital, my mother was pacing in the waiting area, her eyes red and swollen. My brother sat in one of the plastic chairs, elbows on his knees, staring at the floor. He looked up when he saw me, and for the first time in years he looked relieved to see me. Asterisk what happened? Asterisk I asked. The doctor said it was a panic attack, my mother answered quickly. Asterisk they ran tests. His heart is fine but his blood pressure was through the roof. They're keeping him overnight. Asterisk I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. Asterisk so he's okay? Asterisk for now, my brother said. Asterisk but he can't handle this much longer. None of us can. Asterisk I looked at him, really looked at him, and for the first time I saw something I hadn't before. Fear. Not just for our father but for himself. For everything they were about to lose. Asterisk and now what? Asterisk I asked. He swallowed hard. Asterisk we need you. Asterisk those words again. But this time they didn't come with arrogance or entitlement. They came with something real. Something I had waited my whole life to hear. I turned toward the hallway where my father was resting. The man who had never once asked me how I was doing, who never cared about my choices, now lying in a hospital bed, forced to face his own vulnerability. The power shift was undeniable. But what was I supposed to do with it? I wasn't sure. But as I stepped forward walking toward his room, I knew one thing for certain. This wasn't over yet.